Baseball is back, baby. Let's go. Opening weekend has came and passed. We are recording right after the last game has just went final. As in Sunday Night Baseball, the Dodgers win 5-4 on a Max Muncy 2-run home run. Teddy, how you feeling?
You know, besides my team losing the first series of the year, baseball's back. And I'm so happy baseball's back. It's been so fantastic watching baseball this entire weekend. I can't wait for the next 159 games. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it, man.
Just getting started, baby.
This was one of the best opening weekends of baseball in my memory. I remember a couple things happened, but there was a lot of close games. We had fights. We had walk-offs. We had extra inning games, and then extra inning on extra inning games. We had back-to-back home runs to win games. We have wild pitches causing controversy. We have foul balls causing controversy. We got it all this week, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
I deleted the tab.
Oh, you
do this 2 in a row. Oh, did you want to?
No, I just didn't. If you got it up there, might as well go ahead and read it.
Sharpie. Made to write on, stand out on, and stay on practically any surface. It's the permanent marker born for unique, unruly, courageous, outrageous self-expression that never ever fades from glory. We are the bold, original, genuine article and cultural icon of permanent markers. Thank you, Sharpie.
Yes, thank you, Sharpie, for that. For those of you, if you've just listened to the awards pod for some reason out of order, that is the exact same address for that. It's my fault for not having another one. But shout out Sharpie.
Sorry.
Some of these teams are going to wish that they use Sharpie. Some are going to wish they had a whiteboard erase marker. Some are going to wish they had pencil, and some are going to throw away the entire paper.
Sharpie, write out loud. That's their slogan.
Okay. Well, first we want to start off by just saying there are currently only 4 undefeated teams in the MLB, Teddy. Can you name them quickly? Go. 5, 4.
What'd you say? I'm so
3,
sorry.
2, 1.
You're going to have to repeat it because...
Second for the audience.
You're going to have to repeat it because I didn't hear what you said.
I'm answering it. Undefeated teams after opening weekend.
All undefeated teams. Brewers.
Correct.
Yankees.
Correct.
Reds. Not.
Correct.
That was mean because sorry.
Pirates and Tigers, you didn't get it. Boo,
there you
go. You lost. All right.
Sorry.
So, we are a National League-centric pod, so we're going to save that to the end and end with our teams. And Teddy can talk about how he lost more than he won this weekend. But we'll start out a little positive, and we'll split it up with the one interleague matchup this week. Starting out with the American League. Teddy, do you have a specific series you would like to discuss first, and we can just kind of mark it as we go?
How about we start with a little bit of a surprising series, but maybe not. But the Yankees-Astros.
Yes.
That is, I mean, you want to talk about something I would not have suspected, especially with Garrett Cole being injured. I would have thought that, Yankees sweeping the Astros would be the last result I would expect from this series being played out. I mean, that's crazy.
And to add a little bit to that, not only did they get swept, this was a 4-game series. They didn't have the game off. And in all 4 games, Teddy, all 4 games, the reason I picked the Astros to be the number 1 in the American League, the reason they're so consistent is they make the trade for Hader. The back end of their bullpen is supposed to be, you have a lead in the 7th inning, you win. Every single game, all 4, their bullpen could either not maintain the lead or blew a lead.
Right, and besides the second game, because the second game, the Yankees did, they didn't make it close. They kind of blew them out. The other games were like 1-run, 2-run games at most. Like, it's just such fine margins. But a 4-0 start for the Yankees, 0-4 for the Astros.
Yeah, but still,
that's more surprising than any of it. It's crazy.
But even in that game, they only had 1 run going to the 7th inning. Like, it's crazy. This, y'all know I'm very high on this Yankees team, and I will make a promise. We'll at least say something about each of the matchups this weekend. That may not always be the case. but we are going to make sure we talk about them, so we don't want to spend the whole time on the Yankees Astros. But if you told me this was a 2-2 series or a 3-1 series, I could believe it. I thought the Yankees would come out hot, but it's in Houston. They have the leads, or they're tied. And Soto just looks like the best player in the world right now. And defense,
Dude,
Verdugo making
beast.
plays. Volpe, home run. I loved this was my favorite series of the weekend without thinking like, oh, it was a sweep. They were all good, strong games. You mentioned game 2 kind of got away from the Astros, but I enjoyed every part of these games. I watched a lot of these games.
Well,
Yeah,
game 2 got away from the Astros, but the Yankees scored all 7 of their runs in the 7th, 8th, and ninth inning. Like, it was
yeah.
close up until that point.
But the others, it's 7th, 8th, ninth inning, and those are the games for the past 5, 6 years. The Astros pull out consistently. They don't win every single close game, but this Yankees team might be different. All right. Oh, and
Yeah,
shout out to Holmes, their closer, who ended up saving 3 different games. And I will say the Sunday game, he was sweating a little bit. It got a little dicey, but somehow, some way, that he was able to keep it.
yeah. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, Zachary. Let's talk
Okay.
about Tigers, White Sox. I just want to
Okay.
get it out of the way. Let's talk about it. It is opening weekend. We want to talk about everything. White Sox are bad.
I thought they were going to win today. I mean, they were the only team on opening day to not have a single runner get past first base.
Yeah, I will say a positive for the White Sox. After trading Dylan Cease, it was like, who the hell do we have to pitch? Who is going to pitch for us? And they pulled at least in the bigs, career reliever, Garrett Crochet, and just said, hey, you go start opening day. He
Yeah.
actually did very, very well against, I mean, the Tigers, they're not like slouches. Like, I mean, you got to put respect on their name. They're 3-0. Like, I get they played the White Sox, but Crochet, I really want to pull up his box score from that game because,
Okay, yeah.
man,
And while you're doing that, I'll just give my quick thoughts on this. Obviously, Luis Robert goes yard. Pretty fun. This is, I mean, as you can tell on our little stat sheet here, this is the game, the series I had the least to say. The White Sox are one of the worst teams in the league. Tigers took care of business. They made it close, but sometimes baseball's hard. And those are 3 important wins, and the Tigers might need every one of them as the year goes on.
division wins too. Yeah, Crochet, 6 innings pitched. Again, career in the bigs, reliever, 6 innings pitched, gave up 5 hits, 1 earned run, K'd 8. 8.
I did not know the strikeout numbers. Wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. Over 1 inning.
Crochet, shouts out. Also, positive for the Tigers, their closer, dog. Jason Foley. He has a sinker that goes to 101 miles per hour. At least that's what it maxed out on this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, just he's kind of like it closed for them some last year, maybe the entire year. I think it was just like halfway through the year. But he looks to be their like, you know, their go-to closer for the entire season, and he's in a league that closers kind of become, one of those positions that you kind of just platoon with guys. Some guys are gonna close today. Some guys might close the next day. I love a traditional closer. This is the guy we go to. Tigers have that in Jason Foley. Just be on the lookout for him.
Okay. I like that. All right. Moving on to the next one. Again, we are trying to keep this a little, together. And as a reminder to everyone, we are not always going to go through every series, but it's opening weekend, so y'all get a chance. If you don't like it, have your team perform better, or maybe you just played a bad team.
Yep.
Next one, we'll talk Guardians Athletics.
Yep.
Kind of the least fun one. You saw a little.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Athletics, they're a sad team. They did win on Sunday. They pulled out in the bottom of the ninth. They they pulled it out, walk. You don't see that every day.
Yeah.
But you know what? That kind of suits the Athletics. I don't like to say this because it is inherently negative. They're a boring team. They are. They don't have any
Yeah,
superstars. They don't have anything really going for them. I do love Zach Galoff, great young stud. He did have a very costly or almost costly error today or Sunday. I'll be used to that.
that's all.
But yeah, they were up 3-0 going into the top of the eighth, just needing to close it out. And it surprised me that the Guardians screwed that up and didn't come back and win that game because the Athletics were just trying to give it to them. And that's
Yeah,
kind of how they are. And on top of that, the attendance numbers, I get it. You know, you don't want to show support to the owner who is trying to move your team to a city that doesn't even want him there. And he's like acting like a little baby and like it seems like he's trying to make the team bad on purpose in a way. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know all the details, but the perfect encapsulation for the Athletics is just a not good, boring team.
yeah, it's a poverty franchise from a guy that doesn't understand people who have poverty. My two takeaways were it's hard to win 4 games in a row, even against a pair. Oh, that was loud. Even
Was it
against
really?
4 in a row.
I even went
And,
off camera to drink my water to try to make it not a big deal.
and
My
then it's
bad.
fine. And then secondly, it's okay. It's a boring game in a row. And then secondly, just the Guardians, they look all right, and this is kind of how they are. They're not going to score a ton, and they'll win games. They've won 3 out of 4. All right.
Right,
They don't deserve, again, make us deserve to talk about you.
right.
Do something.
Athletics are definitely a team that I don't mind skipping talking about
All right.
in the near future, at least.
Let's just go up the list. So Twins Royals. Twins win the series 2-1. Royals, after losing the first two, come back emphatic on the third game of the season and blank them 11-0. Bobby Witt only needed a double to complete the cycle. Was really hoping for that, so that would have been sick. But I mean, going to game 2 of that series, which is kind of what I wanted to look at, because I do want you to have to admit something that Byron Buxton came through when it mattered, and I was hyped to see that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I
you know,
mean,
one
the Athletics on Sunday, they came through. Byron
one
Buxton came through on, was it Saturday? So, like
these are
things can
the
happen in baseball.
losses that may end up really hurting the Royals. We just talked about with the Tigers, and you don't want to overreact. But 1-1 going into the ninth, and you give up 4 runs.
Yeah,
You
that's
just can't have
tough.
that. The
That's
Twins,
tough.
I do think the Twins are a good team. I don't think they're. I mean, we've talked about that before, but seeing Buxton come through, just having that belief, and having 3 of those RBIs was.
I mean, the Royals opening day game going into the ninth, it was 2-1, and they ended up losing 4-1. Gave up 2 runs in the top of the ninth. Then the very next day, no, 2 days later, the very next game, they give up a 4 spot
Yeah,
in
so I
the
was gonna
top of the
say you go back
ninth.
to the game before. I mean, that's 2 losses where you feel good going into the last innings.
You're not
But at
even
least
giving
they
yourself a
bounced back.
chance in the bottom. Like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
at least they bounced back and made it not even close.
Right. I think that speaks more to the Royals than it does the Twins. We still don't know about the Twins this year. I'm kind of down on them compared to other years, and so I still need to see more. I think that they were kind of given those first 2 games, and then in the third game, it was like the Royals really,
Well,
took it
when
like they were
you
supposed to.
lose Sonny Gray and you don't really have a replacement, like your fourth starter or your third starter has to step up, and he gives up 8 runs. So, man, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to have guys pitch, but that's a tough spot for them. But good on the Royals. Hey, Blue Jays Rays.
Dude, what a
So,
wild ending to that series, huh?
dude, so again, they split 2-2, which
Right.
we kind of were in between picking them. We both chose
I was
Blue
about to
Jays
say,
Rays.
it makes perfect sense for Blue Jays Rays,
Dude,
especially for this season.
so did you see? Let's go to the controversy. Also, Blue Jays come back and win the last game, 9-2. But on the third game of the series, the guy runs to the base, and it's like the fielder doesn't get out of his way, and he kind of gets in his face and just instantly just shoves him, hits him in the face. What?
Well, okay.
That was yeah. Go ahead.
So here's what happened. The pitcher was backing up. So the pitcher just gave up a run to this batter. The batter tried stretching a double into a triple. He did get an RBI with that hit, and the pitcher, Cabrera was his last name. I'm trying to find.
You're just looking for his name.
Yeah. Why
Genesis.
can't I find his name?
I'm almost positive Genesis Cabrera.
Okay. Well, anyways, he's backing up third, and he doesn't need to be this close to third base. He actually comes closer to third base after the guy is tagged out. It kind of gets in the runner's face, Caballero. And Caballero, takes offense to that, gets back into his space, after like backing off a little bit, gets back into his space. He's exchanging words, but it doesn't look like he's shouting. It doesn't look like he's, hurling insults or anything. He just kind of gets up to him. And then Cabrera completely just shoves him, not in the chest, not in the chest, really in the face, just shoves him off. And so the bench is clear. They come out onto the field, but they're not like brawling or anything. But yeah,
Here's what I was saying.
What is Cabrera doing there?
Dude,
it doesn't look like it's heated. It just looks like he literally took that RBI as a personal insult.
Yeah.
And then just gets mad at the guy that hit it off of him. Like, dude, you look like a total loser in this.
I think he's got some issues. However, my biggest takeaway from that, I think that fight is a microcosm of these two teams' seasons because it's going to look like there's about to be a fight, but when you really look at it, it's not actually close. Look at these games, Teddy. They're not close. 8-2, 9-1, 5-1, 9-2. That's the thing. You think it's a fight, but really it's just one-sided, and I don't really know what to make of this, but I'm so excited to watch these teams play again, I'll tell you that, because they genuinely don't like each other. And maybe those players have from history. We'll come back and tell you all about that later in the week. But
splitting is just perfect. Blue Jays Rays, though.
Yeah, and we'll get the National League here in a second. But the Blue Jays Rays are kind of our Giants Padres, except we agreed on the Blue Jays part. Except they're like the violent version. They're like the mean.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, they're the guys playing in the paint, dunking on each other and shoving. And Giants and Padres are just shooting jump shots and threes. So, all right, we're doing all right. Okay. Teddy, Angels-Orioles. The Angels end up again salvaging a win, not getting swept to win the last game. The Orioles only scored one win.
Hard to sweep in baseball. It just is.
But Teddy, I don't want to take a lot of time on this pod, okay?
Yeah.
But the first two games of this were 11-3 and 13-4. And the opening game, Mike Trout shouts out, hits a home run his first at bat. And besides a pinch hit later on in the game, no one else on the entire lineup got a hit. We'll talk about this later, but I respect Mike Trout that he is doing what I've always said players should do. And you sign a contract, you believed in what the team sold you.
Honor it.
He's honoring it. He's not complaining.
Right.
But I don't care anything he said or what anyone else says. Free Mike Trout.
If
next year starts with him if next year starts with him in an Angels uniform, I'm going to be very angry. I'm over it.
Right.
I'm tired of it. Pray for his health. My takeaway from this is the Orioles bang, Corbin Burns is a monster, and free Mike Trout.
So, thing about Mike Trout is he is so loyal that even Angel fans are like, hey man, please go somewhere else and win something. Like, we respect everything you've done for us, but we know us as a franchise will continue to let you down, and you will retire being let down your entire career, which is going to be one of the greatest of all time. Please go somewhere else. And he's just like, loyal to the soil, Los Angeles Angels till the day I die. It's like, dude, we all feel bad for you. Please just go somewhere else. I don't care if you go to the Dodgers and just have that super team. Like, I want to see Trout win something, and he's not going to do it with the Angels.
Yeah, I have two final things to say on this for now. Number one, I could talk about Mike Trout forever and ever. I will say I'm glad he's not taking the other approach of like being the baby, but the fact that he is taking the high road, I will say maybe his back is a little messed up still, and he's like he doesn't want to demand to be traded somewhere and then go there and not be able to perform for them and let them down. Maybe not, but I just want to say this really quickly. I want your instant reaction. I did see a post that said, "Book it. It's not crazy. Mike Trout will be in Atlanta this year."
I would hate that.
Okay. All right.
Especially as a Philadelphia guy that Trout is. Like, if he went to, the only team that really competes with the Phillies in that division, that'd be crazy.
All right.
Especially knowing that he doesn't, like, his position is filled there. Like, I don't know. I'll tell you another team in that division, though, that would love to have him, that has a need for him in that position.
We're not in the National League yet.
My Phillies.
We have one more American League game, and we're doing okay on time. Again, these will be 40-ish minutes. We'll have a little better of a format, as we've mentioned.
Well, I prefer, once we're not talking, like, touching on every single series, it'll actually be slimmed down more. But
yeah, I mean, it's opening weekend. And this next series is a split between a playoff team and a team we both have finishing last in the division. Now, I will say, Red Sox Mariners, sorry. Red Sox fans, and one specifically, Teddy, they like people hating on them. So it's a weird thing of like.
It wasn't even hating. I said that they are the best team that's going to finish last in the division. It's just because of their division.
Okay, and I'm not necessarily saying you are hating, but certain people and certain teams take things as offense, even if it is offense, and I don't know what the case may be. But so, like, do you say something positive? Then they're mad you're not hating on. Like, it's a lose-lose. That's just Boston. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But Seattle's kind of the same. That their fans, they're actually very rabid fan base. They're kind of crazy.
Hashtag bring back the Sonics.
I'll start with this one going kind of
up the Kraken.
Not a cron pod. Starting with the fourth game of the series, Garrett Whitlock, that reliever starter hybrid, gets a start, mows down 8 people, and just was dominant. And the Red Sox, so far, it's either the Mariners' bats are slow or Red Sox pitching's good.
Yeah, so here's my question for you. Garrett Whitlock, he was just an opener, right? Is he their typical long relief pitcher? Because
last year also.
I was not expecting
start, but
it's like the 5 innings pitched was not like expected.
Like, I don't know talking about Garrett for he did a lot last year.
I'm looking right now. He started 10 games last year. He appeared in 22. So he came out of the pen more than he started last year.
But they like him to go 4 or 5 innings at least.
I mean, if he can do what he did Sunday, then by all means.
Apparently this offseason he's built up his stamina, so
it sounds like a Garrett Crochet type situation. But I really want to go to the third game of this series. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. The 4-3 win in 10, where there were a total of 5 runs scored in just the 10th inning split between the two teams. That was fun to watch.
Now, this is also coming off of game 2 of the series where it was a 1-0 ball game. So there was just not much offense in this, but it was a fun series. And our boy, J-Rod, watch your prediction pod. Award show, sorry. That slipped by me. But yeah, in that game, I want to give a shout out a little bit to wait, this might have been the game before. Let me make sure I got my sorry. No, it was this game. Cutter Crawford, 6 innings, 0 earned, 7 strikeouts. We talked about
great name, by the way.
Yeah, incredible name, especially for a pitcher.
Love that name.
But like again, it's early in the year. Sometimes pitching wins, sometimes offense wins. 6 shutout innings is very, very impressive. And I don't know. I mean, the thing I think the Red Sox are going to hit. I don't trust their pitching, but it's early. It's the first series, but pitching's kind of there.
Right. And I do want to say, thank God that Cutter Crawford does indeed throw a cutter. It would take that as one of the coolest names in baseball to the absolute worst if he didn't.
He might not, but they just say he does. It's really just a
It
forcing.
could be a sinker, and then just like cutter.
It's literally a forcing.
Yeah.
He has the
It's
least
like,
movement
dang,
on.
bro, he has awful break on this
I wonder what
cutter.
what's his percentile on cutter? It has like the least movement of anyone in the league.
Yeah. We'll
All
look
right.
it up on Baseball Savant.
So that is the American League. Shouts out to the Red Sox for our opening series. Again, I don't know if I'm supposed to be nice to them or not. Like, it's a weird fan base. But I'll say this. Mariners, you want to compete for this division? The Astros just got swept. You didn't take advantage of it. I mean, you're losing a game. Like, I don't know. I like
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird series. I'll say that. It was weird. Like you
not
had
much offense.
not much offense, but you wouldn't expect in a
Oh,
lot of Mariners
oh.
games, I would say.
I want to
What?
say this, something I am concerned about for the Red Sox, and I did text our Red Sox correspondent. He said it was concerning. I don't know if he was saying it's so concerning or if he's saying da-da-da-da, so it is concerning. But I think it's very concerning that Devers was just scrapped, but then he came back. He did have a hit, but he struck out. But if his shoulder or whatever is sore and he's not fully right, that does impact how I view them as a whole team because I think he is incredible. And
By far their best player.
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they had some guys come through. Shouts out to Tyler O'Neill. We almost missed a big thing there. 5 opening days in a row with a home run. Remind me of that next year. I'm going to bet against him to hit an opening day home run next year.
So I do want to say, Cutter Crawford's cutter, his horizontal movement versus the average is actually in the higher percentile. So he actually does have good break on his cutter.
What about his Crawford? Okay, now moving to the next series.
I'll get back to you on that.
The interleague play. And Teddy, if you look at the timestamp on this, I told you 30 minutes is going to be tough. But hey, we're here. We're here for a long time today. Don't get used to it, people. We're going to keep it in that 30, 40 minute span. Interleague play. Another series I really enjoyed. Cubs Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was going to end in a bang Sunday. God, it's so hard not to say today. It's so hard.
You can say
But
we're recording on Sunday.
okay. Ended on a bang. Or I thought it was going to end on a bang, and then the Cubs just completely rallied in the top of the ninth. Oh, we were going to see another Jonah Heim walk-off. But that was an exciting series. The first or the only opening weekend interleague game or series was electric. I loved it.
World Series champs come back, walk off, and that controversy of it was clearly a foul ball, and they said it wasn't.
Clearly, yeah.
So weird.
Ball don't lie though. Ball don't lie.
Yeah, Jonah Heim. I mean, and then he just hits it. All right, what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, a walk-off home run's really hype. I love just a hit where you know it's a hit, and they just kind of lightly jog at first, just knowing it's over. Maybe more than a home run sometimes.
I will say, watching the Athletics game today, where they walked for a walk-off, seeing the guy, like, he had to go touch first base, obviously. Like, that's got to be such a weird, like, feeling. Like, you're so happy, you're so joyful, you just won the game for your team and everything. But hey, you have to go jog to first real quick. Then you can celebrate.
They interviewed him
especially off a walk.
And his stat line was like 1 hit, 1 walk. That was their top performer. Yeah, anyways, so that's game 1, crazy. But the game where the Cubs scored, you said, I got a stat for you here. Leclerc just couldn't find the zone, and then the guy they brought in after that, hold on, make sure I got his name right. Yeah, Latz, he just couldn't throw a strike either. Teddy, they had 9 free passes, 8 walks, and a hit by pitch. And they said that's something they really wanted to emphasize this year on getting better at. That's kind of concerning. I know they just won the World Series. So, like, that's a weird thing to know is an issue, and it already bites you this early in the year.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe it's just looking at the last game and kind of letting that, kind of fuel this concern. But if you look at the first 2 games, their pitching was the reason they won. You know what I mean? Like, they're hitting, like, yeah, in the second game it was a blowout, but it wasn't until the 8th inning where they scored over half their runs And so it was the pitching that kept them in it. And I think that the Rangers lineup will figure it out.
Oh,
So as
they
long
can
as the
hit.
pitching, yeah, so as long as the pitching just stays the level that they showed in this series, I'm not too concerned. I know that they had one bad inning, but like,
I mean,
I,
I'm putting my yellow flag halfway up.
I got you. It's
If
just
their
it would
bullpen
also
can't
be
be consistent, they're in too good a division to win it, like to compete again.
right.
But yeah, very good game. I kind of walked away being like the Cubs are who I thought they were. Game one could have went either way, and I love I don't know how often they're going to wear it, but the Rangers having the gold around their.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
It's so sick.
yeah,
I'm not a Rangers fan. I kind of want a jersey.
yeah, right. All right.
I
So that was
love Seager.
interleague. Um,
Yeah, let's go to the National League.
yeah, and I've said this. It's hard to
League of
sweep good teams.
Daddies.
It's very hard to sweep good teams, and the Cubs proved they are a good team because you didn't get swept.
That's true.
All right. So National League. I guess we should just slide right into this one, right? You like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give you the floor on this.
Yeah, give it to me. Give me the ball. This is me. Rhys
Here.
Hoskins.
Okay. What the?
Whoa.
Okay.
Rhys Hoskins. I love him. Philly guy. You could definitely see it in this series. Still got Philly in his heart. I'll say it. I might be biased. That slide was not dirty. People can get out of here. That's not dirty. Yes, it's technically a late slide, but guess what? Jeff McNeil's just standing on the bag. He's just waiting for contact. He just wants to complain. Yes, Zachary.
Did he get in trouble for it?
He did not. They even reviewed it and still determined that there was nothing wrong with the slide. Jeff McNeil. Yes, Zachary.
Did he get in trouble the day after?
No, he did not. You want to know why? Because it's not a dirty slide. McNeil, wah, effing wah. I love Rhys Hoskins. And then the fact that the next day he went off. He went off on the Mets. And then those little, I don't want to swear on here.
Kids program.
Yeah, kids program. Good show. Those cowards waited until he already went off on them and the game was basically over for them to throw at him.
Hey.
Not only that, but they threw, like, I don't think they were aiming for the head, but they aimed really high if they were going for the back.
Really
It was
behind
going to hit,
him,
like, right here. Like, it was high.
Yeah, all right, I'm
They're
going to
going to
calm
throw
you
at
down.
him.
I'm going to calm you down.
And then here's the, even, like, this is the part that's hilarious to me. They missed. They threw at him and they missed. Bro, you're already cowards for waiting until the game is basically over. He's already ran you off the field himself. And then, no, they can't. They were definitely trying to hit him. Did you see the pitcher rush to the home plate? Why do you think he rushed to home plate? To cover it for the guy that was on first base? There was nobody on third. There's nobody on second. There's only a guy on first base, and he rushed to the plate. That tells me all I need to know. It was definitely intentional. I don't care.
Oh,
they're cowards. 100%. They're cowards. Seeing that, oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
All right, I'm gonna calm you down. I'm gonna mute you for a second. I appreciated that, but as far as the baseball goes, Brewers win 3-1. Pitching looks great. Brewers win. Funny enough, that game they actually came back and made it a game. I mean, maybe you shouldn't be putting people on for free. And 7-6. And again, I'm curious how their bullpen looks with no Devin Williams and having to rely on it 2 days in a row. And then 4-1. So those are if you tell me 3-1, 7-6, 4-1, that's a Brewers sweep. That's a Brewers team that people need to have a little more respect for. And my biggest fear from this as an NL Central team, being my favorite team, is that Rhys Hoskins is literally, you have these players that do this. They make the clubhouse have a different vibe, a different feel, a different belief. Kind of what it's going to sound like a hater, kind of what they've been missing. They've had a lot of professionals there, but they don't have that little extra, little pizzazz. Like, let's go. Let's do something. And it kind of scares me a little bit. I didn't like this opening series, but I will say this, and maybe I'll get judgment for this. I want everyone in my division to lose, being the Reds, just out. But at the same time, I dislike the Mets way more than I dislike the Brewers. So
Facts.
It was a weird series for me. Yeah. I mean, Peralta, great outing, game one. I don't really have a whole lot more on that.
Absolute facts. I do feel like I have become an honorary member of the Brew Crew.
Right.
They are my second favorite team in that division now,
Thank you.
behind your Reds. But yeah, I enjoyed watching that second game so much.
Yeah. All right. Pirates Marlins, Teddy. As a base coach, not first base, not third, but I don't know what exactly was going on in this extra inning affair. Well, I guess I should start with the recap. A 4-game sweep for the Pirates,
Yeah.
which you wouldn't expect. Potential
Which the
concern.
craziest thing about the Pirates in this 4-game sweep was their offense looked very good.
Well, again, the first game went to 12 innings, and then the last game of the series went to extra innings as well. Really weird series, and honestly, like,
It's more their pitching though, because look at the runs they scored.
well, that's the issue with the Marlins. If you go back, even when they've been competitive, winning 80-some games, their pitching has been great. And their pitching was not great this series. They don't have really past Luzardo, anyone I really trust at all.
Right, and like the
And
Pirates, their lineup doesn't scream like
Teddy, have you seen Luis Arias' stat line this year?
effectives. No.
Now, this is a guy that was
I know he's not been.
He was flirting with 400 last year.
1 for 14.
He got his first hit in game 4 of the series. So when you have a team, they trade for this guy because they're struggling with offense.
Look, I'll say this: I wasn't buying all the Luis Arias hype last year. I mean, he was a singles machine. That's all it was. It was just singles.
Okay.
I want to look at his BABIP last year.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. I mean, he's hit. That's why they traded for him to begin with. But regardless, he's not going to be the power, the pop they need. And for those people that were optimistic about the Marlins, and we don't have to get into this right now, but there's a Jazz Chisholm interview where he's talking about all the terrible things, and this year is different and it's fun. Maybe you need some.
His BABIP last year was 362. There's gonna be regression. That's not sustainable.
Yeah, but 1 hit in 4 games is pathetic. That's not just regression.
No. I agree with that, and that is lower than what anyone would expect from him.
For me,
I'm saying I expect regression from last year.
Yeah, dude. He was insane last year.
I mean, last year he had 203 hits and batted 354. His BABIP, though, is just so sky high that there's going to be regression. People thinking that he's going to eclipse the 200 hits mark again, it was like, dude, he barely got over that with no true gap power behind his swing.
Yeah, like, I don't know who's saying that, but that is crazy. But I'm just very concerned for the Marlins. Pirates get some wins if they're going to compete. I mean, they beat every team they're supposed to. And here's what I wrote. It's weird to come out of a series. How were we talking about Blue Jays Rays earlier, split 2-2? I feel like these are weirdly almost the same team, but one's 4 games ahead of the other.
I mean, I would even argue before the series that the Marlins are a more complete team than the Pirates.
In my power rankings, I definitely have the Marlins above the Pirates.
Same. So it was a surprise, but the Pirates' offense, I mean,
my question to you is this, Teddy, and then we can move on past the series. Sorry. Do you think this series is more about the Pirates being potentially actually good, or that the Marlins are going to just flop this year?
I mean, a little bit of both. It's kind of like a coward's way of putting it.
Yeah, you did.
I would expect more of a Marlins flop than a Pirates.
Agreed.
Glory season.
Yeah. Hey, one of the last 4 undefeated teams. So
right.
I'll let you choose the next one.
We'll just go down the line. Giants, Padres.
Okay. These are the 2 we disagreed on. As far as where they will place this year.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this, and you may judge me for this. Maybe it's because of the closeness or I did not enjoy this series.
Okay.
They split 2-2.
Yep.
Today. Oh, you got me. The last game of the series, the Padres just come out and just dominate. 13-4. Game before, it's a 9-6 game. Chapman went 2 home runs in a game this series. I don't know what it was that was not appealing to me about this. Maybe it was just at the time other games were on. Because I try to watch as much as I possibly could this weekend, as I will try to do on every weekend and throughout the week as much as I can. Something about this just didn't really draw me in, and I don't really know.
Well, I'll tell you for me personally, West Coast in general, West Coast time is always, because of course we're on East Coast time. Those start times always kind of get to me in general. I don't really want to be staying up like all that late, ruining my sleep schedule watching. Sometimes I will, which I shouldn't. Red Sox Mariners game, but I mean it could be that I'm trying to like help out.
It's
It's
okay.
like the
I was
games. It's
excited about
like
the series.
they split, but like none of the games felt like I feel in one game, one team was in complete control, and then the next game you had another team in complete control. It didn't really feel like
Yeah, I agree. Even though the
there
series
was,
weren't that one-sided, yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. They split 2-2. They're going to be battling all year. Uh, Giants are waiting on Blake Snell, and the Padres are waiting on Dylan Cease. So,
yeah. Dylan Cease getting his first loss of the season already. I
well,
guess the White Sox stink doesn't wash off that quickly.
dang, that was tough. But shouts
Yeah,
out to Matt Chapman.
sorry,
People were saying your wash couldn't hit, and he said, "You know what? I'll show
dude.
them I
Shouts
won't."
out. I'm people. So shouts out. Thank you for proving me wrong.
No, I mean, look, he's good for this 1 or 2 months a year. Remember on the show a few years ago, he was a player of the month for the entire MLB, and then
Yeah,
batted
Lightning
150 the
player.
next month. All
Yeah,
right,
wild.
Cardinals Dodgers, the series that just ended right before we started recording this. Look, I have a couple takeaways. Now the Cardinals record's a little weird because they've already played, but
Dodgers, you made.
yeah, sorry. Dodgers take 3 of 4. They lose the third game of the series. Shohei gets up after they walk Mookie, bases loaded. There's been a lot of things swirling about Shohei and this or that, and they always say like, I think if Shohei comes through right there, it instantly is just like he's here, he's back, it's sick, and he just pops out. Now it's not that traumatic,
Yeah.
but again, my takeaway from this is the Cardinals kind of competed in this, and the Dodgers did what I expect the Astros to do, and they didn't. They win in the end. They come through. I'm never going to get used to Brandon Crawford being in a Cardinals uniform. He called the pop up from Shohei. I hate it.
Him being in any other uniform but the Giants was so weird. It almost didn't even look like Brandon Crawford because he's become so synonymous with that jersey.
Yeah. I wonder if he throws a good Brandon.
I mean, I don't even get that.
Cutter Crawford.
Oh, that was horrible. I'll say this. After the very first game of this series, I was thinking, like, okay, so the Cardinals are just going to be a joke this year. They actually made it competitive the rest of the series. They were able to bounce
Yeah.
back, make it competitive. Their win, scrappy in extra innings. Obviously, you would expect the Dodgers and Shohei to come through in the position that they had. But
The Dodgers are
I'll
just
say
a machine,
this.
and Mookie Betts is the best player in baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers just, I mean, they got 4 wins.
Yeah.
Congrats to them, 4-2.
I will say the first game of the series, Tyler Glasnow following up his first start with another very good start. Dude, if he's
Yeah.
healthy,
Shouts out Tyler Glass now.
dude, just be healthy, bro. He's so sick.
Also, Yamamoto
Yeah.
bouncing back big in his second start.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of concerned after the Soul series and
Dodgers
his start there.
debut. He feels pressure, and
Yeah, he really bounced back in a big way. But yeah,
yeah.
I think the story of that series is just look out for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm not even going to be as much as they're by far my least favorite team in the league, but I don't even think it was like about the Cardinals as much as just you're playing the Dodgers, don't get swept.
Right. Cardinals have fight. The way they fought
Yeah.
back from being embarrassed the first game.
Yeah. All right, one more series until we get to our home series. And again, guys, I'm going to say it one last time. Typically, we will have these kind of in, well, spoiler, kind of 4 sections, including Thursday when you watch the next one. We want to give everybody their shine. We'll go through a little quicker next time. It's going to be around the 40-ish minute mark, a little under. So we're a little long today. That's okay. You'll get over it. Baseball's back. A lot of you are on spring break right now anyways. Shouts out. Also, if you want to play MLB The Show, you want to get on the pod, you want to send a question, ask a question, follow us on Instagram, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, send a message. I'll send you my phone number on there. What? All right. Diamondbacks Rockies.
I'll send you Zachary's address.
That's
I
fine.
know it.
Yeah, it's 1020 Lane.
Anytime I get asked for an address, I kind of just put yours down. That was a joke, by the way. I don't do that.
You remember when you randomly got mail sent here and you didn't do that?
Yeah, weird. Said they knew. All right, so next series, Diamondbacks Rockies. This is another kind of like nothing series. I didn't really learn nothing. You can take it. Your takeaway could be that the Diamondbacks looked really, really good. And my response to that is yes, but the Rockies, they suck. They're terrible. The only exciting part of this series was the very first game in the third inning. The Diamondbacks put up 14 runs. That's absurd.
Yeah.
They literally put up 2 in the first inning, 14 in the third, and then they just didn't score for the rest of the game, which honestly kind of perfectly encapsulates the series to me. The Rockies did steal one off of the Diamondbacks, so good for the Rockies, but
I mean, and here's the thing: Montgomery's going to slot into that rotation. He's going to help out. Zach Gallen is him, obviously. Merrill Kelly's very good. They have a very good rotation. I think there's always a little bit of the fear with a team that's kind of like the Diamondbacks last year, where they sneak into the playoffs, get hot at the end up making the World Series. That like they're going to start out the next year and kind of seem like a young team still. Now it's the Rockies. It's an easy start. It's a soft beginning, but do you think everybody that plays the Rockies is going to score 16 and 7 and 5? Like, you still got to dominate the bad teams. Yeah, you want to get 4 games, but their goal should have been to take 3 or 4, and they did it. So
the 16 though can be misleading because they scored the 16. Like 14 of that 16 was 1 inning, which is not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be something that we're going to expect to see in other games. It's kind of just a pile, momentum. I think that.
No,
I
I
mean,
wasn't
look,
saying they're
I'm
going to
not
do
taking
that.
anything away from the Diamondbacks.
I'm just saying, just
saying
because they played the Rockies, everybody's not going to score 16 runs against the Rockies.
right. Also, I have a pronunciation on the guy that we were debating over.
Okay.
It is Font.
Okay. And he fought
Font, not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the Diamondbacks had on their board, we need to win 3 of these 4 games. They checked it off. They said, job well done, moving on. And the Rockies said, we're in a bad spot. And then after the game, they said, we're in a bad spot. So, yeah, kind of like you said, didn't really learn anything, but nothing was surprising. These are good things for the Diamondbacks. Maybe they want to compete for the division, but if you're competing for the wild card, you got to take care of business against these bottom teams. That's going to be a theme of this podcast the whole year. You got to win series against bad teams.
It was nice to see Chuck Nasty getting an obligatory triple in this series.
They weren't
He's still
even
doing
Colorado.
it, bro.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, bro.
That's so weird. All right, Teddy.
I love him.
All
right, let's do it.
So whenever we start our, this is kind of the beginning, opening weekend. When we start our recaps in the future, our home or our fourth base, if you will, is going to be where we talk about our home team. So we talk about. So next week will be a little different because we actually face each other. We'll get to that next episode.
But I am excited.
Actually, we won't get to a next episode, so we can talk about the very end. But Phillies and Reds play this week. And speaking of the Phillies, they played the Braves this week. And Braves took 2 of 3. Phillies fight back and win game 3. Teddy, if you see on the sheet, there's something I want to ask you. Do you want to discuss that at the very end really quickly?
No, we can discuss it right now. It goes with the game that just happened.
Okay.
Let's go and talk about it.
So, again, Braves win 2 out of 3. Zach Wheeler has a great game in game 1, goes 6 shutty, looks great. Bullpen comes in, maybe some mismanagement. You can discuss that if you'd like. I'm going to kind of, throw you the alley here in a second. Braves come back and they just hit and hit and hit. Little bloops, little hits, little blasts. Game 2, Nola gets hit. They leave him in. He gets hit. Never really had much of a chance in Game 2. Game 3, Phillies fall behind and come back and take the lead. A little bit of a theme for these games, though, is I have a lot of friends that cheer for the Braves. And Teddy, if I didn't watch baseball at all, I'm just being honest, I would have got on there and thought the Braves got swept in like 1-run games. That's how it felt. And I'm gonna throw it to you because I'm gonna be gentle. But they won the series. They lost a game today. A call was overturned where Rojas was safe on a double play. They didn't understand.
Which he was clearly safe.
Yeah, I don't know what they were confused about.
And also, the fielders were confused that they had to get back on the field. And it's like, bro, they just checked the replay. They clearly saw he was safe because they had to clearly see it and be 100% sure to overturn it, which he was clearly safe. The ball did not hit the back of Olson's glove at that point.
They announced the runner at second was out, and I think they didn't realize they're talking about the full play.
Right.
But
yeah,
really,
anyways.
balls and strikes were argued this whole series. I'm going to sit this out. If you want to ask me a question, you can. I watched basically everything from all of these games. These are two of my top teams in the league. I thought it was a great series, but apparently some people did not. So I did promise someone I would at least ask you about the one strike call where, yes, it was a strike and they didn't call it. But
I mean,
go off, King.
I think it's kind of like a nothing burger. I think that I'll say this. Going into this season, not me, even I would disagree with the take that a lot of people are putting the Phillies bullpen as the best bullpen in the MLB. I do like our bullpen. I do think that our bullpen will be better than recent years. I am excited that we have I'd say top 5 bullpen. But oh my goodness, those first 2 games were rough for them. A rough start for our bullpen. Kind of the story of those games, if you ask me, was just the Braves smash. They do. They're so hard to get out. Wheeler shut them down through 6, and I think that it's just so impressive that he did that. Like, if you look at what happened after he exited the game, the entirety of the next game, and even the game today. Like, the Braves offense is a problem. We knew it was going to be a problem going into the season. And it's like, I get my hopes up going in that this division could be the Phillies finally. Like, yes, 2 straight years we've sent the Braves home crying in the postseason. That's been fun. But we want to win a division title. Like, yeah, obviously postseason matters more, but like, there's going to be pride in winning the division. And, I loved all the write-offs before the year of this is the Braves division, this is the Braves division. The Phillies are the shoe-in for the first wild card, but they're not even going to compete with the Braves. And going into the series, I was like, yeah, screw those guys. We're going to be there. Nah, there's a gap. There's a gap between these 2 teams. There is. Again, postseason, I'm not worried. But even the game today, I can't walk away from it and be like rejuvenated. I'll say that. It's nice not to get swept, especially by the Braves. But opening the year in a 3-game series against the Braves at home in the bank, we don't want to go down like that. So all in all, vibes from that series are low. I am excited. No offense to you or the Reds. I am excited for the next series. Hopefully that's going to be a get right series. Obviously there's 159 more games. Like, I'm not going to overreact, say that the division is over or anything, but yeah, I think that the Phillies bullpen definitely showed this game, at least. They were rusty. Also, I saw that the Phillies were one of the teams in spring training that did not play their starters as much as other teams. So maybe we're just slow out the gate because we need more of that game sharpness. And yeah, I don't know. That sounds like an excuse, so I don't really want to go off of that too much. Just Braves are better at this point. They are.
Okay.
It's apparent.
All right, I'll give my quick recap and then we'll flip over to my last game and we'll be getting out of here soon. Thank you all for listening again. If you tune in just for the Brave segment, sorry we made you wait to the end. Just the way it works. Here are my few takeaways here, Teddy. Number 1, I want to say the Phillies got to win. So good job. I don't mean that condescending. I'm just saying it's a different vibe getting swept than it is saving the series, basically.
Absolutely.
Number 2, here's a PSA to Braves fans, okay? And shouts out to Christina. She was really upset about the one. She loves Max Fried and that one call. I get it. I may would be the same way. But here's my PSA to all Braves fans.
Again, nothing like that call is such a nothing burger with how the game ended up.
Well, their argument was after that is whenever he got shelled and he would have been out of the inning. And then he was taken out.
Right, but they won the game very comfortably. Like, it seems like a weird thing to harp on, though, right?
Listen, I'm making a PSA, okay?
And that's not just at her. That's just
No.
in general. I've seen it on Twitter.
Yeah,
I've seen it on Twitter. A ton of Braves fans were still talking about it during the game today, and it's like, why? I don't know. It's weird.
Here's what I want to say, Braves. Here's my PSA to you, Braves fans. Chill out. I think they've grown so accustomed to dominating that they forget that. I'm just going to say what it is. Braves fans, you have forgotten what baseball is. It's a lot of weird, quirky, odd things that happen. Here's my third takeaway. So, Braves fans, chill out. That's my thing to you. I promise you, there are very few people in the world that watch more baseball than me this weekend. You're in a tier, basically, of your own, you and the Dodgers. You're so much better than, at this point in the season already, you are so much better. And I think Braves fans, because they just, like, their season ended so harshly and, you know, again, not even to bring this up, the Phillies just destroyed them. Like, they were so used to dominating all year. I'm being genuine with this. It was impressive that this Braves team, they looked exactly like the same team I saw playing at the end of last season. Not in the playoffs, but they're relentless. And Kelnick, being able to get these little hits and roll the lineup over to where you have the best player in the world coming up, it's impressive to watch. I had a rooting interest because I do love
Kelnick was absurd
in the Phillies
the entire series.
Rest day and try to kill herself. Maybe I think if I was Bryce, I would take the next 3 games off just to be safe. But truthfully, I would just 3 games and you'll be fine. I just think that the Braves are incredible. They're so dominant. And look, it doesn't like make me happy to say that. I don't dislike them either. They're just chill out and understand you are in a tier of your own. Chris Sale gives up a leadoff bomb today, and it's like, oh crap, this is bad. Then guess what? He pitches great after that. Maybe not great, but very good. And they were talking about this on the broadcast, but even for the Phillies, you go and get Chris Sale because you know you're going to face the Phillies in the playoffs and have lefties. You don't get him for this game. Just chill out.
Correct.
You're going to win.
Correct.
You're going to
So
win.
weird that they won't pay Fried. But
I mean, can you blame him? Dude can't even strike out Castellanos on a pitch down the middle. All right. I'll let you intro the next one. And this is our last recap of the thing. Honestly, probably the most exciting ending to any game on opening week.
Yeah, let's forget about that Mariners-Red Sox game. Let's talk about...
This was much more electric.
From a Reds fan perspective, I would agree with you.
From anyone's perspective. Anyways.
More than the Red Sox Mariners?
Back-to-back home runs on a walk-off? Yeah, that's a fun thing.
Yeah, but the Red Sox Mariners, you go to extras, you give up 2 runs in the top, looks like it's done, and then you score 3 in the bottom.
I didn't say it was a better game. I said a better walk-off ending. Anyway, semantics.
You said more electric. So we'll talk about the Nationals and the Reds, a.k.a. the Nick Martini series. Go ahead, Zachary. Talk about your team. Talk about your boys, your lads.
So start out game 1, just absolutely shelling Josiah Gray, jumping on early. Bats are going. Frankie Montas, new addition. He said he doesn't care about any past version of himself. He's here for this year, and he pitched great. So you're feeling good. You're like, okay. Game 2 had, and I actually wrote this on here, after game 2, were the defensive woes going to be a concern, or is it just something that happened? David Bell actually mentioned it today, Sunday, and said, those are plays we're going to make throughout the year. We're not concerned. Reds basically give the game away, lose 7-6. Just a few different little things that just shouldn't happen, and then pitching messes up. you're going to lose games. But then it comes to the last game of the series. They're losing 3-5 going to bottom of the ninth. First two batters get out. Also left so many base runners on and base running woes. Just a lot of early season stuff that you just hope doesn't cost you games. Well, it was about to until Jonathan India gets a base knock. Then Will Benson, 2-run home run to tie the game. And then Encarnacion Strand, as we mentioned a second ago, back-to-back home run from Benson to Strand. Bomb. Obliterates the ball. Watch that actual home run, by the way, because he's one of those guys where it's just power when it comes off his bat. Now, on a side note, first hit of the season, so it's starting to get concerning. I want to give a shout out to a random person, okay? And that is Trey Lipscomb, okay? Nick Senzel, former Red, is warming up before the game on Thursday on opening day. Warming up before the game and breaks his thumb. So Trey Lipscomb gets a start where he wasn't expected to play at all. And I don't know where to look this up, but he made so many incredible, whether it was a routine or just a lot. The ball was hit to him several times, and he made every single play. And that's a big thing. And I wanted to shout him out. He made it tough on the Reds. In a vacuum, winning 2 out of 3 is good. I'm not satisfied with the Reds' performance because there's some improvement to happen. We have some guys having good at-bats coming through. We're still hitting the ball. I feel good. I'm a little concerned going into this Phillies series because I don't know what the Phillies 4 and 5 look like from a pitching standpoint, and I don't know what the Reds are going to look like. I really like Abbott, but we'll see what happens. That's my concern, is just kind of figuring out this team. But I'm glad we're figuring out at 2-1 instead of 1-2. I'm not going to get too excited or whatever, but yes, the ending of that was you start to lose hope when there's ninth inning, 2 outs, and you're down 2. Which sounds
Right. I think you're still on a high from that ending, which why wouldn't you be? It still was great, but to be down 5-3 to the Nats in your opening series after already losing 1 game to them, like that's tough. It's really tough. I'll say after the first game of this series, the Reds blew out the Nationals. We'll call it what it is. It was more of a, and this is very unfair to the Reds. I'll go ahead and get out in front of that. It was more of a, I expect it. I expect that to happen. And I expect it to happen all 3 games. And so seeing the Reds kind of struggle with the Nationals the next 2 games, I mean, they lose the next game, and then this last game, they struggle with them, and it took something electric for them to even just get out.
Yeah, let me talk about them too really quickly. A lot of bad mistakes, but they give up around the 7th, 8th, and then Alexis Diaz, who was very, very, very good last year, was top, I don't know, however many in the league in saves. First save opportunity, blows it, gives up 3 runs, and we lose. I think that's very uncharacteristic because I have a pretty large sample size of him. So I mean, really, you could look at it that way too if the closer does his job. But this isn't a Red spot. I'm just recapping the game. I'm letting you know how I feel. I feel good. I think in this 3-game series with the Phillies, of course, I want to win it, and I think that they can because they can hit.
Yeah. Obviously, it's very hard to sweep. It just is. Like that's just how it is in baseball. With that being said, I'd be kind of disappointed in my Phillies if we don't get close to a sweep in this series. I'll be honest with you. The pitching just Frankie Montas was very good. Outside of that, like
Hunter Green had a good outing also. He just threw too many pitches early and just errors and people on base. I mean, he pitched well. But my
y'all didn't even have an error that game.
My thing with the Philly series, we got to win one of the first 2 games because.
Yeah, I mean Hunter Green. I mean 4 2/3, 5 hits, 4 walks.
Yeah,
2 runs.
too many pitches.
Yeah,
But we faced Zach Wheeler in the 3rd game of the series, so Reds have to win at least one of the first 2 because, look, I don't trust Montas to outdo Wheeler. I just don't.
But, but with that being said, I am going into it very confident. It's one of those things that you and I are not going to be like hateful towards one another throughout this series. We're hoping it doesn't get too heated. But
these teams don't have bad blood or anything.
No. I expect the Phillies to win, though. I do want to go ahead and get out in front of that. And this will definitely be a bounce back series and a show us what you're made of, show us your mental toughness from the Phillies. And for the Reds, I know they won the series, but against the Nationals, the way that they did, can you really say they won the series? Like, I think
Yes.
that this could also be a bounce back series for the Reds. I think they
They just got to clean up a few things, even if it's not errors. Their
it's
plays
not
look
even just a
made.
few things, it's a lot. Yeah. We'll
Yeah,
see. I'm
we'll
excited.
recap.
But
We'll
yeah,
see you guys on the next pod. Thanks for joining in. Again, this will be the longest one where we gave everybody a shine.
right.
Our motto all year is going to be this: give us something to talk
Right
about.
out loud.
We're not
Oh,
talking. Yeah. All right.
thought we were
We
doing the
appreciate it,
Sharpie tune
guys.
again.
Seriously, we do appreciate it. If you're a Braves fan and you're mad, if you're a Red Sox fan and you're mad, if you're a White Sox fan, don't listen.
I don't know why you'd be mad if you're a Braves fan. Just
At
glazing the
us.
Braves.
At us.
At us.
Yeah.
What are they gonna be mad at me for? All I was doing was praising the Braves. I couldn't even take that much joy in the fact that we won the last game.
I don't
The
think
fact that they
you just
embarrassed us the
you
first
don't
two
know
games.
you just don't know Braves fans very well.
I guess not. I guess I expect too much of them then.
Oh, see now they're gonna be mad at you for that comment.
Why? They embarrassed us the first two games.
Dude, they just hit. All right, Teddy. I was gonna save it. But you know what? Let's go ahead. We're gonna do a random baseball trivia to end the pod. I'm gonna stop. And I don't know the answer either. Okay, so I don't have it. All right. Okay,
All right.
this is a good one. This is how we'll end it here. Which of the following 1936 Yankees did not drive in 100 runs? All right. A. George Selkirk. B. Joe DiMaggio. C. Bill Dickey. D. Lou Gehrig. E. Tony Lazzeri. Or F. Frankie Crassetti. Before you answer, Teddy, comment below A, B, C, D, E, or F. It's a lot. This is actually by date, so maybe I should have done the actual date of today. I didn't realize that. But yeah. On May 20th, Hal Newhouser, Ken Boyer, Bobby Mercer, and David Wells have birthdays. So happy birthday to you guys.
Happy birthday.
Also Victoria Day in Canada.
I wonder if this is going to
All right,
be
I have my
like
answer.
that kind of like lose you questions with like people automatically taking out DiMaggio and Garrett. I'm going to be one of those people. I am people.
I have my answer.
You know what? I'm going to go Selkirk.
Okay, I'm going C, Bill Dickey. And the answer is F. Frankie Crassetti. The Yankees shortstop had 78 RBIs. The Yankees were the first club. Oh my gosh. Okay, I get why this is the question. The other five all had 100 RBIs. They were the first team to ever have 5 players with 100 RBIs.
That's crazy.
Lou Gehrig 152, DiMaggio 125. So good job.
What year was that again?
1936.
1936.
We would do one of those.
That's Joe DiMaggio's rookie year. Shouts out.
Oh, that's wild, really?
Yeah. I learned that from Seinfeld.
Which Seinfeld?
Yeah, I've seen some Seinfeld, yeah. Yeah, I like Seinfeld.
Shouts out Larry David for helping write it. And one of the hypest things ever is Jerry, the star and the person, is a huge Mets fan, but he makes him wearing It's All About the Yankees for his own show because Larry David made it and he wanted to be a Yankees based, which is just the hypest thing to me. All right.
Now,
We're going. Wait, what?
that was crazy. Love y'all.